Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark, your host of the Dr. William Clark podcast. Glad to be with you all today. Wanted to welcome you into the podcast and just tell you thank you. Thank you for logging on, subscribing, watching, clicking, liking, sharing this podcast and the previous podcast episodes. It's our desire to provide great content for you, particularly if you are looking for content around nonprofit strategy, nonprofit leadership, and nonprofit fundraising. As you engage in this particular podcast, I'm going to ask that you take a moment to not only take notes as we get started, but also take a moment to share this particular podcast episode with someone in your life who you believe can benefit from this. This can be a colleague, this can be a friend, this can be a partner, it can be a stakeholder, anyone you think can benefit from good content around nonprofit stuff. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into our show, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark here. Glad to be with you for another episode. We got another question here, and I want to address this, and hopefully this can help all of you out there. And here's the question. This question comes in and says, I'm currently working on a grant. There are sections in the grant that's asking me to describe my plans to sustain this particular project. What information do I need to provide? So this is a good question. And for those of you who are new to grant writing and those of you who are new to building nonprofit organizations and you're in the process of building a sustainable program, this is going to be a question you might want to plug into. Now, let's quickly talk about what's sustainability. So when a funder or a stakeholder or someone asks you, what are you going to do to sustain the project? They are specifically asking you, how are you going to fund this particular project long term? So assuming we give you money and we give you a portion of what you ask for, or what we give you only reflects a small element of the budget, how will you raise additional monies? Here's another way of looking at this. Let's say we give you all that you ask for and is good for 1 year funding, but our funding ends after that first year. You do a good job, you're serving the community, and you're having a deep impact. How will you keep the work going? How will you pay bills? How will you pay staff? How will you pay for overhead costs, etc.? So when you look at these two perspectives, sustainability from the perspective of multiple funders being a part of funding a singular project or funding after a particular funder ends their commitment, this is what they're asking for, talking about when it comes to sustainability. So this is a good question. Now, when you begin to look at this particular answer, you want to begin to think about how are you going to raise money to support the entire cost of your project. We recommend here at Eli Patrick & Co., developing your core 4 strategy documents way before you start pursuing funding. Those core 4 strategy documents are your strategic plan, your fundraising plan, your grant application, and your master budget or a program budget. And the reason why we recommend these documents be developed way before you start to pursue funding is because you're going to get questions like this. And if you don't have a plan in place to raise money to support the entire cost of your program, you're going to run into situations where you may have a really cool idea. You may be in a situation where funding is ready to go and people want to support you, but they're not confident in your ability to sustain or keep the project going long term. The last thing funders want to do is support a project that won't have staying power. They don't want to harm the community. They don't want to hurt the community by pursuing and supporting something, but knowing after 12 months that program won't be there long term. And quite frankly, as a nonprofit entrepreneur, as a nonprofit founder, as a nonprofit stakeholder, you should be interested in the same thing. I don't want to do more harm in an effort to try to do good. So we need to focus on developing your core 4 strategy documents. Number 2, you want to begin to lean into that second document there, and that's the fundraising plan. The fundraising plan answers a couple of key questions. How much do we need to raise? So this ties into your full program budget. The second question that you got to answer in the fundraising plan is who has the money that we need. So is it funders? Is it large scale funders, mid-sized, small funders? Is it our government, city, state, and federal? Or is it individual donors or sponsors or partnerships, etc.? Now, the last question that you got to answer in your fundraising plan is who's going to get the money? Whether it's an assigned person on staff, if it's a person on the board, if it's a stakeholder, if it's a consultant, someone has to go ahead and pursue the request or asking for that money. Once you begin to fill out that plan and begin to fill out all those key components that goes into a fundraising plan, you will start to see what the market is going to say to your idea. You'll start to see what funders are saying, whether they're going to support your idea, or if there are other trends you need to consider when it comes to fundraising. As you begin to generate revenue and as you begin to secure funding opportunities, you will begin to see that there will be a market for what you're offering, and you want to begin to lean into where the interest is. And as you do so, you want to begin to work hard to secure funding opportunities, notate that in funding applications, as well as notate applications that are pending. So when you're pursuing funding from a source and they ask you this critical question about sustainability, who have you secured funding from? And then are there any pending funding requests that are outstanding? And that question literally is asking you, have you submitted a grant that you have not heard back from? And if you combine those dollars along with the request to the current funder you are pursuing, that should total up to or exceed the budget you have for that particular project. This is how you begin to look at sustainability. This is how you begin to look at pairing together funding opportunities or a funding portfolio to support the work. This is how you begin to expand the capacity of your program, because if you're fortunate to raise more than what you need, there's an opportunity to add more staff, to add more to the programming, opportunity to buy more supplies, or to serve more people, right? So you want to be able to put all these pieces of the puzzle together. And as you begin to do so, answering that question of sustainability should become a little easier because you have a plan in place that you're executing, which in part is your fundraising plan and your strategic plan. And as you're executing that plan, you're also going to be notating opportunities that you have secured or funding you have secured. And you're also going to notate opportunities that you're currently pursuing. You want to combine all of that, and then you'll be able to answer that question much, much easier. How do I answer the question around sustainability? Now, if you would like to talk about this further, if you would like to talk about fundraising strategies further and talk about what's going on in your nonprofit organization, I'm going to encourage you to visit me at DrWilliamPClark.com. Again, that's DrWilliamPClark.com. Click on schedule a free consultation, select a date and time that works for you, and we'll be glad to speak with you. This is Dr. Clark for the Dr. William P. Clark podcast. We'll see you guys next time. See you, everybody. All right, everybody, this is Dr. William Clark again. Thanks for hanging out with us during this particular podcast, and I hope that you got some value out of this particular podcast. Now, I want to make sure that we also close this podcast with some additional value. Now, we've created the Nonprofit Fundraising Masterclass. This particular masterclass was designed by nonprofit leaders for nonprofit leaders to help you simplify your fundraising approaches without chasing funders. Now, if this is something that you want to engage in and utilize for your nonprofit organization, if you have been thinking about how to fundraise for your organization, you just don't know how to do it, if you're transitioning from one phase of fundraising to the next, or you're just trying to improve the fundraising capacity of your organization, then this particular masterclass may be the right fit for you. So if you want to submit your application and join our next cohort, then go to nonprofitfundingstrategies.com. Again, that's nonprofitfundingstrategies.com. For all others who want to just get on my calendar and chat a little bit about your nonprofit organization, we offer free consultations. So you can simply go to DrWilliamPClark.com to schedule your free consultation. Again, that's DrWilliamPClark.com for your free consultation. Guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this particular episode, and we'll see you guys next time. See you, everybody.